You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
Good evening. Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for tuning in and spending a few minutes of your New Year's Day with the Sporting Time Show on WNKY. It has been an unbelievable year for us in 2021, and I want to bring on my special co-host who had co-hosted with me for a number of years, and he is back today. And how apropos that Joe Brunk is here to start the new year. Joe, welcome in.
Thanks, Doug. You must be really scraping the bottom of the barrel. I couldn't get anybody else in to be bringing me in, but I'm glad to be here.
Listen, full disclosure, you had a very busy 2021. I mean, you got married.
That's the big one.
That's the big one.
That's the big one.
New job.
Couple of them.
So well,
bounced
okay.
About a little bit.
But you're specialized. You have a specialized skill.
Sure.
So anyway, it was tough to get you on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But it's great to have you on the show tonight. And I got to ask you, what did you do for New Year's Eve? I mean, is it? Because I'll tell you what I did, and it will be very boring. But any special celebrations?
Unfortunately, I think ours is pretty boring too. We're just hanging at the house, just me and the missus and the two pups. Bringing in the new year together, just relaxing a little bit. We've been traveling all month with Christmas, and seeing my family a couple weekends, seeing her family for a couple weekends. We were ready just to be at home for a little bit and just relax.
Yeah, and speaking about that, you also bought a home in 2021.
We
did.
I
mean, married, you purchased a home, right?
Yeah.
And so
remodeling a home.
Yeah, which is going into 2022.
Hopefully only into 2022.
Yeah. So it has, it has been an amazing 2021 as far as sports go.
It has.
In our area. And for the Sporting Time Show on WNKY, I went back and I looked at some of the previous shows. I think we had over 100 guests on the show. And, you look at the set. You have not been to the new set.
This is a new experience for me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, right?
It is. It's very nice.
And one of the things that, a lot of the viewers, they don't see is what happens behind the scenes for the Sporting Time Show. And there is a lot of prep work. You have producers, you have camera people, floor producers. I mean, you've got so many moving parts that make this show what it is. You got to edit it. I'm very thankful to WNKY and the quality of people that they have here, Joe, because it makes a huge difference.
We made the move to come to NKY with this Sporting Time Show. There were some questions with it because we really hadn't had a show like this on NKY, but they brought us in with open arms. Really, we were shooting that out of our own office. Woo! And that took a lot of work. So we're glad that they brought us into here. It's a little bit easier to make it work this way, but no, NKY has been super supportive. We're super thankful to be on this platform, to be bringing what we bring to the show.
Yeah, and for sure, and looking forward to a very, very prosperous 2022, and plan on having a lot of guests in here. I do want to go back a little bit. You had a really great Christmas. I know that. Most newlyweds, it's a lot of fun. You travel, you go see the in-laws, or for your instance, your parents, which are on Eastern Kentucky. You know what I got to do? I got to put together, my wife got my two grandboys, who's 18 months and 3.5. She got him a little motorized motorcycle, right, for the little one.
Yeah.
And I put that together like this, like at 9 o'clock Christmas Eve.
It's a pro.
Right. The problem is she also got the older one a Jeep. And I opened up the box and there was 1,000 parts to this thing, Christmas Eve. I couldn't do one without doing the other.
That's right.
And I'm just telling you, Joe, it tested every nerve that I had. And it worked out at about 3:30 a.m. I had finally finished it. All the wheels turned in the right direction. And
it's a good start.
It was a fantastic Christmas.
Doug Thompson, Power Wheels Mechanic.
Do not look to me to put your Power Wheels together, because the fender did come off when he started riding it. It's just a small oversight.
It just takes off and boom, 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 bouncing off to this.
This is going to be a fun show. We're going to kind of look back at some of the guests that we had, and also talk about how great 2021 was in the 4th region with some of the schools, Joe. It was a fantastic season, especially when we get into football. But before we do that, we're going to take a short break. More of the Sporting Times Show right here on WNKY NBC 40. We'll be right back. Welcome back again. Happy New Year's. Joe Brunk is my special co-host. He is also a senior broadcaster for the Sporting Times, the voice of the Purples, and you've got a lot of stuff going on. But Joe, I did want to mention some of the guests that we had on this season. We're gonna go through the next couple segments talking about this, but some of the funniest things were William Howard, for instance, back during the break, right, the dead period. He did the interview via Zoom on his phone while he was doing a youth camp, a football camp, right?
Okay.
And he just kept saying, hang on, I want to show you this. It was a blast. Brad Hood and Philip McKinney did it from their pool.
Well, that's the way to do it.
Right?
Just chillaxing by the pool and do a little interview at the same time.
So much fun. But this is what we're going to do. We had Dr. Kirk Fee from WKONA as a guest here in studio. He talked about the influence of sports on his life and his career. Let's listen to what Dr. Fee had to say. You know, how much did sports influence your life? You know, not only during the time you played it, but did you carry that through? You know,
I did. I carry it to this day. You know, growing up, you know, our thing was basketball. The school that I went to actually did not have a football team. Growing up, we were so small. So both my little sister, Courtney, who's a high school principal down in Tennessee now, we both played small college basketball at Christian Brothers College. And yes, it influences you whenever it teaches you the values of teamwork, teaches you confidence. I can say just personally that, it teaches you that you can handle anything. I knew if I could handle Dave Luce, you know, and I hope he hears this interview.
We'll tag him in on it.
Tag coming at me that I knew I could handle surgery residency. I knew from the toughness that I gained from sports, if I handled surgery residency, I could handle any other personal tragedies that I've had in my life. And so it instills in you a self-confidence that you want to hammer every kid, every position, whether you are a reserve, whether you're a starter, that the humility and the self-confidence that sports teaches us can be very, very valuable once you step off of the field, because that's what a lot of people don't understand. There's going to come a time whenever you're not playing anymore. And it's the values that you learn in sports and how you translate them, you know, into your life is what I think makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's very powerful, and you know, you interact with, again, all ages, but specifically high school sports. You know, we see a lot of ACL, MCL with female athletes, but it's got to be extremely difficult to have a senior who gets injured early in the season that you have to break the news to that, you know, we have to do this, or this is your path, and their season is done for high school.
Playing college sports, you do, I think it gives you a sense of perspective of timeline. So if somebody is in the 8th grade, then you are able to help them. You know, the mental approach to sports, the mental approach to surgery is just as good sometimes, you know, and just as important as the physical is. If you're in high school, yes, you know, I think that being a former college athlete has, you know, given me a platform to help those things, whether it's they're coming off the field at Greenwood and you know, the coach is on them and you're still there able to kind of at least, you know, help build them and help support them, whether that's through injury or whether that's through performance, you know, and as an orthopedic surgeon, a former college athlete, I understand both of those. And so I tell you, I love my time on the high school sidelines. I'm grateful to Greenwood and, you know, Principal Hatcher out there for at least just letting me come and participate. I enjoy it that much.
Yeah, Dr. Fee, that was such a in-depth, just a great synopsis of how it impacted him, and it impacted me as well, Joe. And I know you were an athlete in high school as well.
In sports, it's a great unifier. That's the thing.
Yeah.
When you look at what sports does, not only just for the athletes that are on the court or the field, but the fans that are involved as well, the parents who are involved as well, just everybody that is involved in that sports community. It's a unifier, and it's pretty amazing to see.
You know, Joe, I don't know if you saw, but I had my high school coach on via Zoom from my Pinckney High School days, and he said, unprovoked, they should have retired my number, and that I was a great player. Of course, they didn't retire my number, but it was so great having him on the show. It was like old times. Joe, let's take a short break. When we come back, Joe and I are going to go over past guests as well, and also some of the highlights of 2021 in high school sports. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Joe and I are kind of talking about previous guests. Of course, we're going to get to the highlights of 2021 in high school sports, Joe. But I also had a number of special guest hosts, which was a lot of fun for me. And it was community leaders, people in the community that I know, either from a professional standpoint or otherwise. And I would text them or email them and say, hey, I'd like you to co-host a show with me. And a lot of them never had this experience, right? So it was a lot of fun. One of those was Chad Young, who you know very, very well. And at the time, Chad was at WKCT.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. And I think a couple weeks after he did the show, he took the new position as a director over at Buchanan Park for the tennis facility.
Yeah, he did.
It was great having him on. You know, he's been doing radio for so long. Also, he was the one and only tennis coach at South Warren High School. But it was great to get his perspective on sports. And somebody you know very well, Rex Booth.
Rex Booth is great, man. Like, that dude is so much fun, like, to bring in. Like, he knows basketball. Like, that's the thing. He knows the game of basketball so well. And he was great, not only bringing on the show, but to have during our broadcast during the basketball season. Working mostly with Brent, but I got to work with him a little bit during the region and district, and he's so good.
Yeah,
he's so good.
And now he's the principal of Russellville High School, and we've seen his career kind of, you know, go different places, and he just keeps moving up the ladder. It was great having him on. Damon Tabor, who owns Oak Tree Awards.
That dude knows some basketball.
Damon, well, he was a coach forever, girls basketball coach forever, but he blames me for when I got him on the radio many years ago as a color guy, one of these games that you couldn't make, and I had to step in. And then he got back involved in high school sports. He took a coaching job after he retired, but he was a lot of fun to have on. Brian Davis is another co-host that I've had. And Brian, woo, you know, you just don't know.
He's a wild card.
Yeah, you don't.
What I keep hearing, Doug, is you keep on bringing in these guest after guest hosts, and you're looking for somebody to replace me.
No,
but you just can't find it.
Well, true. I'm just waiting for you to give me that call that says, "Hey, I'll be there.
I'm ready.
I'll be there." And you know how this worked out tonight, having you on. But you know, it was so much fun. Of course, Kirk Fee, having him on as well. But you know, it is fun having different people on the show, bringing different perspectives, different backgrounds, and so until you're ready, until you're able, be prepared out there. That I may give somebody a call out there.
If Doug Thompson has your number, you too could be the host of the Sporting Time Show.
I've got a contact list. So I want to go back and talk about some of the guests real quick. Lisa Correa, who was on the show, and while she was on the show, she had received notification that she won a national award in coaching, and basically it was the influence of young athletes, and it was a very prestigious award. She has been coaching for many years. I've known her for about 25 years. You know, Lisa Correa, again, William Howard, Mikey Benton has been a frequent guest of the show.
What a year for Mikey Benton.
Yep. I mean, finals.
Yeah.
In the 1A state championship.
Yeah.
Brandon Smith over at South Warren was not a regular guest, but I think he was on 3 times in 2021.
Yeah.
But he's hard to get to because when it's football season, forget it. He is focused. I'm looking at my list here. Just so many guests that we had. And I think I already mentioned Brad Hood. But it's a lot of fun. And now that we're kind of removed, we can get guests in studio, Joe, which makes it, for me, a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, Zoom worked for when we needed it to be able to get people in, to bring that different perspective. But always great to have people in studio. You get a little bit more of their personality when they're in person. It's always great.
Yeah, and when we come back from this next break, we're going to talk about the high school sports season. 2021 was the year of the purple. I mean,
it was a good year.
From a standpoint of championships and region championships, we'll get to that in a second. Before we do that, we're going to take a short break. More of the Sporting Times, New Year's Eve, New Year's Night, right here on WNKY, NBC 40. We'll be right back. Welcome back. One of the guests, Joe, that I did not mention that I had on my notes was Veronique DeMars. And she was the young lady from Greenwood High School who scored a perfect 36 on both the ACT and SAT. She was in studio with me, and her personality just as impressive as her perfect scores. Fine, just a super young lady, and congratulations again to her. Now, sports-wise, first and foremost, congratulations to all the student athletes that participated in 2021. Whether you won a state championship, a region, a district, the effort was there, Joe.
It certainly was.
I mean, you work hard to do the best you can, and we saw not only in the district here, but in the 4th region, some great talent. But as I mentioned as a tease coming into this segment, Bowling Green really had a stellar year. I believe that they won 8. They
won a lot.
Region championships, right?
They had a pretty good year. Good year to be a purple.
Basketball and girls basketball, they won the region championship there. Baseball and volleyball for the first time, they won the region championships. Girls soccer, again, it was really funny. When Lisa Correa was on the show, we talked about the only 2 teams in the last 20 years to ever make it to the 4th region championship was Greenwood and Bowling Green. And it was that way again in 2021. Bowling Green wins that. In addition to that, Bowling Green's esports.
Yeah, their esports not too long ago took home, like KAA has brought that in as a sport under their umbrella. And Bowling Green won that as well with, I believe, the Rocket League. They won that one.
A state championship, right?
Yeah, one state championship.
So, your parents, years ago, the parents were like, get off that thing, get outside and play. And now, it's a sport.
Now you can be a state champion.
That's right. And then the Bowling Green cheer team won, I think, the largest division. They won a state championship there. And I believe their middle school won as well. So a good year for them. South Warren, fantastic year in boys soccer. They win the 4th region. Some of the other notes that I had here, Joe,
their football run as well. I mean, state title's pretty good. State title's pretty good for a football team.
5A, and they pretty much ran the table.
That was a team on a mission. Look, they came in last season. They were a top-ranked team going into the playoffs, got upset in the 2nd round against Bowling Green. They came back this year fully ready to make up for that. They had a team that was just built to win a state title, and they ran through pretty much everybody that they played in the state. They were very impressive this year and certainly deserved that ring.
Velkamp is headed to the Hill. He had a great season, 6'5" quarterback, a lot of potential.
It'll be interesting to see what he can bring.
Yeah, a lot of potential.
He'll have the chance.
Girls golf, Glasgow wins the region title there with Bowling Green as the runner-up, so they both advanced. The boys, Greenwood wins the region golf in 2021 with Bowling Green as the boys runner-up as well. But it was Dalton Five-ish from Franklin Simpson who tied third in the Leachman Buick State Golf Championship. What an accomplishment. And Dalton is a great pitcher in baseball, right?
Oh, he's a great pitcher, great player. Like, not just pitcher, but just all-around five-tool player for Franklin Simpson. He was great.
So we'll see him this spring. Right, Joe?
I believe so.
You're looking at me like...
I believe so.
Yeah, unless he graduates in December, we'll see him. We'll see him this spring. But just, I've got so many notes here, Joe. 1A Russellville in football, 1A state championship. They lose to that, but what a great run for Mikey Benton.
Dude, Mikey Benton has brought Russellville back to where they were not too long ago. Like, the Panthers are back in a big way.
Yeah.
And honestly, if they just had a few more minutes, just a few more minutes left in that state title game, they could have been hoisting up a banner too.
That's right. John Myers did such a great job when he was there. Mikey Benton has picked up that flag and has run with it. We got about a minute left. Metcalfe County had a great year going into the quarterfinals. The Harbisons did a fantastic job. Glasgow semifinals.
Yeah.
So close for Jeff Garman. What about Logan County semifinal run? I mean, that was huge for them.
Yeah, I mean, Logan County has been able to build themselves back up into kind of a 4A power. Now, they kind of ran up against a buzzsaw in Boyle County, but they were beating pretty much everybody. Not many teams are going to beat Boyle County this year.
Well, that was the thing. Who are they going to lose to? I mean, Boyle County was tough, but Joe, I look forward to 2022.
Yeah.
Again, congratulations to all the teams, all the coaches, and the fans. And, that's going to wrap it for this New Year's night. And for Doug Thompson and Joe Brunk, have a fantastic week. Have a safe New Year. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Good night.